You know what about dog? SK New Air this. The body out there. Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Ocho-Rios, Galtigo Bay. Everywhere. I Am Sure Sports. Check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like? Ha! Yeah, someone on for the food from young, from day you need height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Trick Nick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
William Day Memorial High School D-Cup Alumni presents its third annual fundraising barbecue on Memorial Day, May 30th, 2022. Wear your favorite jersey to Wilson Wood Park in Mount Vernon, New York. Remember to take exit 12 off the Hutchinson River Parkway. Music by DJ Mad Max of Sound 1000. Proceeds to aid the William Day High School Costa Cup team. For more information, contact Keegan 304-607-4034. Our Codfish at 954-639-2991. Proud of people, it's important. Remember, make sure say, oh no, did that.
Yo, saw me the young Jamaican trainer, Mr. Strength No Weakness himself. Yo, I'm here to tell you guys that the Broses family presents their second annual Blue and White Grill and Chill. Let me let you know something. It will be so much fun and amazing event. Make sure you show up and show out. From the young Jamaican trainer himself. Listen, Saturday, May 28th, and it's 3458 Ballard Avenue, Bronx, New York. We'll see you later. Strength No Weakness.
All right. Greetings and good afternoon. It is welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am your host, Man. We have a show that we're going to do just reflecting on the Field Reggae Boys campaign, Jamaica Field campaign to the World Cup this year at the back end of the year. But we want to put some perspective on it and remain grateful. I think it is Coffee who does a song speaking about blessing on our right hand and about being thankful. So we're going to be thankful even in the midst of failure. You understand me? But I want to share this quote from you and to kind of shape the perspective that we'll be speaking from today before I get into thanking our sponsors. This is a quote by Richard Clark Cabot. He's an American physician, and he says, before you tell the truth to the patient, be sure you know the truth and that the patient wants to hear the truth. Before you tell the truth to the patient, be sure you know the truth and be sure that the patient also wants to hear the truth. A big thank you to the sponsors of this video. The sponsors of this video, they are Prestige Finance, lending a helping hand when you need it the most. Call them at 876-884-7390. They're located in Linstead, St. Catherine, Jamaica, and they're offering loans to you of up to 100,000 Jamaican dollars. No processing fee, same day processing, and 0 to 4% interest rate. Listen, having a medical issue, issue with school, issue with the workplace, starting a small business, this is a place that you need to reach out to. They are ready and waiting to help you. Also, a big thank you to Launch Legacy. Launch Legacy, where they handle risk and seek legacy for all your personal insurance needs in Canada and the USA. Visit them at launchlegacy.com or call or text them at 647-989-0782. Listen, speak with Launch Legacy. They'll get you at a place where your money will start working for you. Also, we have been getting information that subscribers, many of our subscribers, they have called in, said that they have called in and they have placed in their order for their shirts that are available in the United States. If you want to be a part of the 22 persons in the United States to wear one of the I Am Sure Sports merch, that's our shirt, our freedom shirt, we call them, the 2022 edition. You see, the black is on my right hand, and that's how the back is. You see the big I Am Sure Sports coming down the middle of the back. Very nice. It is in red, yellow, and green. All right. You notice how the colors are, the combination of the color is, and the white is on the other side with the red, yellow. That's how the front look. The Black Lives Matter is what the fist at the bottom represent with the big eye. So you notice the I Am Sure Sports is an actual eye with the pupil on the inside, which is the ball. Yeah. You know, so you know we're getting the thing going. So please make sure, you get yours, right? That's the number that you call. It is 1-954-639-2991. One phone call it takes to get the merch right at your doorstep. That's what we say at I Am Sure Sports. Also want you to know that if you're in North America or anywhere overseas, our super chat and our super sticker feature work. That's one way you can also support the channel. You can also support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing the content. Listen, we don't ask a lot, right? But we put in a lot of work. We do a lot of research. We spend a lot of time. And so we hope that you will support us by liking, subscribing, and sharing. All right. So let's get into the meat of the matter. First of all, let me say a big thank you to those who are watching at this time and those who are in the comment section. I see Karumi here saying that he's carrying Netherlands in the World Cup. Listen, I'm carrying Brazil. I want all the African nations to do well. I think Senegal can go far. And I said this yesterday on my show and people did not believe me. I told them yesterday, go back and listen to the tape, that several nations you'll see different teams representing them. And here's why that is going to happen, because many players know that teams, especially the African teams that have qualified, they are going to switch allegiance. You already see 10 players already say they want to represent Ghana. I'm going to give you some of the names that wants to join up with Ghana for the World Cup. Callum Hudson-Odoi wants to represent Ghana now. Eddie Nketiah from Arsenal wants to represent Ghana. Saluse, who they called up 5 times and he turned down the invitation, is ready to play. Those are just 3 names that came up in recent times. Lamptey from Brighton also said he wants to represent Ghana as well. So what you're going to see is, because the World Cup is all the way down in November, the African teams like the Senegal, the Tunisia, Morocco, Ghana, Cameroon, they are going to recruit players to come in to bolster their squad, because they will have enough time to prepare, because it's all the way down in November. The United States and Canada will also do the same, I believe. And so you could see different squads heading into the World Cup. All right. But I'm bringing Brazil, always support them, but I want the African nations and the CONCACAF nations to do well, because if the CONCACAF nations do well, then it kind of sets the stage for the 2026 World Cup out here in CONCACAF. Yep, and you know already that it's three nations that will be hosting it, different cities in the nations, and they are going on in May. There's a major bidding going on in the United States for people now to know which cities will be hosting the game. So like the stadium that the Crankies built that hosted the Super Bowl, they built that with the hope of facilitating a World Cup game. But here's what happened. The stadium has to be modified because the pitch is not wide enough. So they will have to spend billions or millions to fix that before they can host a World Cup game. All right. Also, I mean, for the Liverpool fans out there, Liverpool won their game in the English Premier League today. So let me give you some score update. Liverpool, yes, they led the table for a brief moment, I must say. Yes, they led the table after they defeated, had a 2-0 victory today. A very good game. Watford really played well. Liverpool 2, Watford 0. And then Brighton and Norwich played to a 0-0 draw. Brighton missed a penalty in that one. City kind of easily got past Burnley, and so they took over leadership again of the table. In the big surprise so far of the weekend, Chelsea were hammered. They were peppered. They were sprayed. They were arrested. They were discombobulated. They were destroyed. They were beaten. They were spanked. They were, 4-1 by the Bees of Brentford. Oh my, oh my, my, oh my, oh my. And I'm telling you, people, I feel good about Chelsea losing to Brentford. I'm telling you, because it means when Arsenal defeats Crystal Palace on Monday, we will only be 2 points behind Chelsea for third place. Hip, hip. Hooray! Yes. So as an Arsenal fan, tomorrow I want to see Tottenham lose to Newcastle. Hey, that's just me, right? Wolves defeated Aston Villa by 2-1, and Leon Bailey played in that one. And Manchester United, they pulled off a Houdini today. I mean, they were down 1, and then Fred equalized, and then, oh my God, Leicester scored and went 2-1. And I know United fans were getting livid. Nonetheless, the goal was taken back. And so, yes, so Manchester United look like they're headed to the Conference League for next season. I don't know what's happening. But so that's what happened. The JPL games are tomorrow as well. Good to see all of you in here. Shan says Argentina, they're bringing Big Ben. Well, if you name Big Ben, you have to support England. There we go, because that's where Big Ben is, right? In England. Junior Jim says, I'm bringing England. Listen, I don't think like England is a tournament team. That's the problem. Like teams like France and Brazil, there are certain teams that they are tournament team. They may not look good but when they turn up for the tournament, it's a different beast. And I think like I have to go with the teams that generally do well at tournament. All right. I see Stan Cranky here saying, he says, we made some mistake, confused the two football and thought the field configuration where the same need to make some changes. I can afford it. Yes, Mr. Cranky. Yes, Mr. Cranky. Yes. I know. Yes, I know. It's a a little penny for you. It's not a big deal. Big up Paul Marriott in the building as well. Man is man. We do undefeated. If we do undefeated for the season, we will finish third. We have a tough run in, but have a chance for the... Yeah, I'm telling you, Sir Cranky. Listen, if you don't know, this is Father Cranky right here, and I'm Josh, right? So we know what's happening. So, You have Daddy Stan right there, and this is Josh Kroenke, right? We call the shots at Arsenal, for those of you who don't know. So, yes, I think if we can finish undefeated, I agree with you that we will finish ahead of Chelsea. Because I just feel like the Champions League games that these teams have to play will affect their performance in the league. And I think that is what happened to Chelsea today. Yeah. God bless you, it says Senegal World Cup champions. That would be good. Listen, that would be good, but they would have to get in some players. They would have to recruit. They need a next at least 2 other strikers to work with Mane, and a couple of defenders around the back there. With Koulibaly and one more good midfielder, and they could do something, right? So they're probably going to be going through France and looking through the leagues to see who qualifies to play for Senegal. But people, I took some time, right, and I looked at how we started this whole World Cup campaign with the whole Red Flag Nation. Some people couldn't travel, and you look at what could have and would have. When you look at how the table ended, and you look at how everything panned out in the end, indeed, you look back, you reflect, and you say there was indeed a realistic chance of Jamaica qualifying. But I took some time and I look at what are some of the things that I noticed. Do you know that Andre Blake played in every game in the campaign? And I want to say a big thank you to him. Captain, he led the team. We may not like all his performances, conceded some goal, but listen, he turned up. And I want to say, a big thank you to him. He's a captain, and he turned up. When there was turmoil, he turned up. Right? He turned up. There was turmoil, and he turned up. When there was confusion, he turned up. When he was criticized, he turned up. When he made mistake, he turned up. And I want to say thank you to him. Right? We on the outside have a different perspective. But when I talk to players about him, there's a lot of respect that they have for him in that changing room. And so, Captain Andre Blake, I mean, we the fans, thank you. We thank you. You really and truly, you didn't have to do it. You could have stopped because of all the criticism. You could have said, you know what, this ain't worth it. I'm already well off. I have my business. I have a lucrative contract in Philadelphia. But man, you turned up. Even for what is called a nothing game, you turned up, and we appreciate that. Big thank you. And to every other member of the team, for every person who was called up into the squad, the Javon East who we criticized, he turned up. The Romario Williams, all of these guys, the Norman Campbell, the Tyreek McGee, all of those guys who probably came in for one game, and we are disappointed. We are saddened. We got vexed. Many of us may have said things we should not have said, express our dissatisfaction in ways that hurt you. But we want to thank you still. Want to also, I'm calling out, and you may want to thank someone else and highlight something, but I want to also thank Adrian Mariappa. Because, man, rain or shine, no matter what is happening, you never hear his name called up in anything. He's an elder statesman in the team. His name never gets called up in all the hullabaloo going on. He turns up. He does his job. Whether he's on the bench, whether he's substituted, if he's called on late in the game, he goes out and he does his job. When he's out of contract, he kept himself in good condition, and he turned up. He turned up. Thank you. Ethan Pinnock, Mikel Antonio, all of these guys, the Bobby Reed and the Wes Harding, Anthony Grant. We want to say thank you to all of you. Daniel Johnson, thank you. Dylan Barnes came every time he was called, knowing that he would not play unless there was an emergency, but he still turned up. Even when Blake may have made a mistake and he was not placed in the goal for the next game, he turned up for the next window. Man, thank you. And sometimes we fail to see these things because we are caught up in the emotions of the situation and we get so critical. But we want to say thank you. O'Neil Fisher gave us an opportunity back in El Salvador. Thank you. Kemar Taxi Lawrence, went through some ordeal. But you know what? When he was called, he turned up. Thank you. And so we want the players to know that we appreciate them representing the country, though we are disappointed in how the qualifiers ended. We are extremely disappointed, but we appreciate you representing Jamaica to the best of your ability. And maybe that's a limitation that you had. We thank you. And I want to publicly say that. You understand me? Because if they had qualified, there would be big shows about all of it. But, and all of that, and nothing is wrong with that. So here's the thing. I want them to know that, yeah, it's a big deal that they some of them could have chosen not to, but they did. Mikel Antonio was treated bad from some of the reports we had, but he still turned up. Ravel Morrison, went through a hard time. He's fighting with a team at the bottom of the table. They won today and he played well again. And he still turned up. He could have said, listen, I'm all done with this Jamaica thing. But the guy still turned up. Greg Lee was ostracized at one point. But when he was called, he turned up. We thank you. The set of guys who, when the campaign was done and dusted and we realized that we could not go anywhere, when they were called up, the local players, unprepared, some of them for cold weather and international football, they turned up. Young Tyreek Zemenis, they turned up. Lamar Walker, Peter Lee Vassell, who was called to come to Canada just for that game to fill up space and numbers, and Tevin Shaw, they turned up. So it does say that these players, there's something about them that says, listen, if my nation calls me, I'm going to turn up. Thank you. Damian Lowe, many people gave him a hard time. He got a red card in one game. And listen, he still came out. He still played hard. Never changed his style, though some of us wish he would. Thank you. I'm telling you, there's a lot to be grateful for. Because only 8 nations of all the nations in CONCACAF got to this stage. And we finished 6th. We could have done and should have done a whole lot better. Want to thank Warren Barrett, the goalkeeper coach, Marion Garden, assistant coach. I want to thank Coach Theodore Whitmore, because somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it. Man was doing a job, took a pay that most of the people would not have taken. People refused, but he did it as a servant to the nation's football, right? Can't say all his decisions were decisions that I like, but one day, Coach Whitmore, if you're listening to this, I would love to hear, publicly or privately, your side of the story. Because maybe we are criticizing you too harshly for how everything panned out. But thank you. You could have put your foot down and say you're not moving. But you walked away. You could have gone on all different kind of medias and given Paul Hall and everybody a hard time. When you walked away, you didn't. You kept silent. Up to this point, you haven't spoken publicly with all the criticism and stuff. You know what? Lot of respect for that. You understand me? Lot of respect for that. Coach Paul Hall, you came in. I don't know how you do it. You have your job at Queen's Park Rangers. You're earning. What could the GFF really give you? But you chose to come and give your heart to Jamaica's football. We thank you. For the fans, I know some of them I went to every single home game, and there's some group of fans that every the 7 games we played at home, we all sat in the same area. Every game, we're there. There are a couple of fans. BAM is one of them, I know for sure. And AQ, I know you listen. These guys bought ticket for every single game. They were in Panama for the match. The only games that they didn't go to was the last 3 games. The game in Canada, El Salvador, and Honduras. These guys had such faith in Jamaica's football that they already had booked their ticket to go to Qatar to the World Cup. They came to Jamaica to come and watch the games in the National Stadium. Then they traveled to all over the place from the beginning of the campaign, flying everywhere to follow the team. So there are some faithful spectators out there. To all the people who don't realize that when you come on these forums and speak as just, YouTube coaches, YouTube analysts, YouTube journalists, people here, and changes. We cried out for Anthony Grant. Lot of outcry, and he was called into the team. So, big thank you to everyone who was a part of the process. Coaching staff, management, committees, everybody who was a part of the project. Thank you. And sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. Sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. So hope we can learn some things from this experience. Never, ever do some of the things again. And collectively, we must chart a new course going forward. Looking forward to great things from this present group of players with Paul Hall. I think Paul Hall is a people person, and I think he is prime to take us back to the pinnacle of CONCACAF football. I see that, and I have absolute confidence that he has the ability to do so. All right, let me get some of your comments, because I know some Manchester United fans heard the vibration of the great Arsenal, and they are going to jump over here and say some things. Man is man, no worry, Senegal got it. If Senegal can recruit, then yeah, then they could. Big up. Ricardo Baggio says, nice gesture, man is man. Every time, man, we have to be grateful. Yes, Dan Cranky, Ghana can have a whole separate team. Many players were reluctant because the Ghana fans can be abusive. Will be interesting to see how many new players they will add to their team. This is it now, because I think if the World Cup was in the summer, they would not add anyone. But because it is in November, it gives them enough time to gel and blood new players into the team. So we could be seeing, I think you will see, Thiago Silva will not go to the World Cup with Brazil, though he played in the qualifiers, because by November, so many things are going to change. So let's see what happens. I think some players who played in the qualifier may end up losing their place in the team by the time the World Cup comes around in November. God bless you says we need to move from the Ganga 9. I don't know what that means to that. One love my team. Yeah, man. Big up Ricardo Baggio. Here it is. First, man. Arsenal want to make Champions League to get 7 and 10 again. Please do. Huh? Who give us 10? You're talking over what? Who give us 10? You're talking about Bayern Munich did Tottenham Hotspurs? Talking about. Careful enough one than Manchester United. Oh, careful enough. My name actually go around the Arsenal enough. Yeah, man. Senegal. All right. All scrimmage, Mariap will complete if you call him the most committed. Yep. Rather Ghana win the World Cup over Senegal as an African nation. I wonder why loud music. What is the difference? What is the difference? Don't know. Brazil the thing there. Yeah, what is the difference? Big up. Brain drain. Lasers will not be allowed at the World Cup, so I would hold on. Really? I heard that there'll be no vuvuzelas allowed at the World Cup. I think they should. I don't know why they wouldn't allow vuvuzelas. Yeah, great YouTube. Yeah, and the commenters as well. Did I leave that out? Black Star Liners. All right. Jason, bless up. Jason, you know, I tried to link back our Virgin man are not getting through. The Black Star in Ghanaian flag was inspired by Marcus. Yeah. Are you asking us, Brain Drain? Are you asking us, Brain Drain? Are you telling us? Loud Music Entertainment. Yeah, man. Trust me, there will be flags there tomorrow. I should be out there, you know. I should be out there doing some coverage on the game out there. Hey, Shem Jackson, how you doing? Good night, beautiful lady. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, but people, we have to be thankful. The team should have done better. And I mean, but a lot of these guys, you know, like I said, when you think about what Mariappa sacrificed to play Anthony Grant, you know, Andre Blake, a lot of these guys sacrificed a lot. Mikel Antonio, Leon Bailey, Ravel Morrison. You know, we have to be grateful. We have to be grateful. When you see players turning up, you know, yeah, at the back end of the campaign still to play and giving it all, you have to turn up. Speedy, who turned up. I mean, so many of these players. Loud Music Entertainment says, Brain Drain, even the Mount Pleasant FA slogan is inspired by the great Honorable Marcus Garvey. Oh, because he's a Senton man. Oh, sharing the information for those not in the know. Yeah. Not in the know. All right. Good. So, is this saying that you are going with Ghana for the World Cup? Because I did tell people, you know, I told people yesterday is that teams like Tunisia, Morocco, Ghana, Senegal, and Cameroon will be seriously transformed. You know what? Also, of those African teams, because you know the Cameroonian team has one of their former World Cup players, and Eto'o is, I think he's the president of the FA over there. He's involved in it. That's such a joy to see footballing people at the helm of the football, and the team actually qualified. If they had failed, it would be, you know, a problem. But the fact that they qualified is a good thing. And then you hear the turmoil in Nigerian football. You think like Jamaica is not the only federation, you know. There are so a lot of these federation, not just in Africa but in other places. It is terrible, you know, how they operate. I'm telling you, terrible. How some of these federations operate globally. And also with the Senegal team, it is good because we also saw with the Senegal team, we saw again a former footballer at the helm of the of things there of the Senegal team. So those things are very good to see, and I hope that is, you know, we can look at these things and see what we can take to add to our football going forward. Could it be a case where we have more football mind, football focused people leading the football, and see if it could probably help to produce greater and better results? But we are going to have to start something getting closer to the World Cup in terms of who do you think who you're picking to come out of the zone. We had some picks from some people. I have my picks already, but let me know. Yeah, man. Shem J says, do you agree with FIFA for going to replay a match between? Where you heard that? Where you heard that? Where you heard that? That match ain't playing over, man. When did FIFA say that? Huh? When did FIFA say that, Shem J? I don't see anything like that. Where did you get that information? Huh? Isham? Where did you get? All right, send me the info. Send me the info because I am telling you, somebody it's all fools here. Them send it out one Shem. Them trick you, man. Yeah, man. See there, trick you, man. Yeah. Yeah, man. Trick you, Shem. Not like that, man. Ain't no. Chef, no, you see a bridge and trouble there down here. No, man, it's not nothing like that. Listen, you remember what happened to Jamaica? Yes, it's Corona. Corona play, and nothing never happened. So ain't nothing like that. It is done and settled. You see the draw went on already. They're not going to play for nothing, Chef. Yeah, man. Respect Patrick Holness. Bless up. Yeah. Senegal, Tunisia, and Morocco have the same face but different skin color. Yeah, they are all Muslims. Yeah. France, England, USA, in that particular order. Is Raheem Sterling the best English international right now? I think he's right up there. But I think right now Harry Kane is on fire. Yeah. Yeah, so I would say Harry Kane, but Raheem Sterling is right up there. I think but you'd have to make a decision. I could understand some people saying Raheem Sterling, but I'd say Harry Kane. Shem, it no go so, man. I see what you're saying. Me, trust me. Them think they are fake news. Yeah, it's of the pink wall variation. Raheem Sterling in general. They would have said that before the draw. Once the draw is done, that's it, man. Yeah. Man, in the match won't be played over because the World Cup draw took place. Yeah. That's not happening, man. There ain't no playing over. Yeah. Shem, I try. Shem. Leave it alone. You know, listen to me, leave it alone. Me say no go so. No go so. You see where this come from? East African sport. You see when it gets sent out, Shem, the 1st of April. May I tell you at the 1st of April. See, wait a all fools there, man. Yeah, man, them just send out something to trick people. Yeah, man. Don't be a try to tell you. All fools there, them send it out, Shem. They said it out. Listen, I will play the fool, but I will not be played by a fool. So don't play the fool, Shem, but don't get played by these fools. It ain't gonna play over. Yeah, man, bless up, bless up, bless up. Yep. But that's what I'm looking to see. I'm looking to see what the USA will do and what Canada will do with their teams. I think, like I said, they're going to be adding additional players. So maybe some persons, if we were looking at them to even represent Jamaica, and they have connection to like Canada and the USA, I could see them going after those players. You understand me? I think what is going to happen as well is, I think this is where Paul Hall could be very effective, because these nations are going to have the Nations League in June. So a lot of them are going to be tied to nations. I think because England, especially England, I think England will be manipulating the Nations League. In fact, there are many European countries who are saying that once you represent a nation at any level, you should not be able or should not be allowed to represent any other nation again. Because they realize that they are going to lose players who they could have called on, but they don't want to call them now because they have better players. So if I were Paul Hall, I would start, I would start talking to some of these guys and find out where they're at and tell them, listen, the English FA going to tie you. They're going to try and tie you in. But you're not going to go to the World Cup. CONCACAF have 6 spots available in 2026. We won't be playing Mexico. We won't be playing Canada. We won't be playing the United States. With you, we can qualify. Join us from now. The preparation starts now. I think that kind of message can win over many, many people. That's what I think that kind of message, and I think Paul Hall need to just get on with that right now. Get them into the Nations League. Start building something. Because I know that the English FA, you see, they call up like Kyle Walker-Peters and stuff, and they told also Walker that, they're going to call him back in June. So, you know that, you see, James Justin is at Leicester again. You have James at Chelsea. Yeah, you understand me? Where Kyle Walker-Peters ain't playing for England, real game, and them Tyreek. Those guys not getting no game. So I think those were just like, a little sugar to encourage them to stay for the juice. But there'll be no beverage. So I would say, like, if I were Paul Hall, I would start the recruiting now, pointing them to the open door I think Jamaica has in 2026. And know that even Leon Bailey, I think it would be good if he had Leon Bailey and a team of persons talking to the players. Because I see Leon Bailey as a future captain of the Reggae Boys. I think he has leadership attributes and things. So I could see him leading the Reggae Boys team in the future. So I'd suggest that, Paul Hall find a way of incorporating him in the system in terms of recruiting players. But what say you people? Talk to me. What say you? Do you agree or do you agree? Let me hear from you. Do you agree or do you agree? If you were Paul Hall, what would your step to recruiting be? Put it in the comment section, let me see. If you were Paul Hall, how would you start the process of recruiting? Well, we have only 16 minutes left, so make sure you are, Yeah. Bless up Giovanni in the building. Alex, long time I don't see Alex, man. Alex did have pink eye. I hope him get better. Alex, what go on? Yeah, Shem says she agree that Leon has the attributes of a leader. Yeah, I think so. I think Leon has leadership qualities that we could tap into, going forward. Alex, what a go on, man? How you doing? If you're a Paul Hall, how would you do your recruiting, Alex? Yeah, man, you can call in people and share your thoughts. If you're a Paul Hall, what would be your steps to recruiting players from overseas to represent the Reggae Boys? Yeah, hello.
Sir, man, what you doing? I call in today. All right, so I know you have
hold on. Not everybody is familiar with your voice, and I know you think you're very popular. So tell the people who is on the phone, sir.
Yeah, everybody Alex. If you don't know me already, I want to know Alex. Everybody else. But yeah, my recruiting process if I was Paula I would recruit like I'd use a group of people per se. Like what would you mention about past players and players that like Liam Bailey and so forth. And first and foremost, I would have different tiers. So the Premier League, they definitely know that's tier 1, and the Championship would be tier 2, and tier 3 would be like the lower leagues. And so I would try to get the best possible players out of tier 1 first. And the only way I go to tier 3 is if our talent, that pop-up talent come out, right? A player that good that can fit the system. But yeah, that's how I would go. I would go more organized and have multiple people watching this person week in, week out. Me try and go into the game so I can watch them week in and week out and check their stats and their stats are how they perform in the matches. But therefore, that's what I would do, and I would get a group of people to help me going forward, like the diaspora, and try to connect to the YouTubers. So they are a big part of I think they are a big part of the JFF the media personals are the
why explain to me why the YouTubers are a big part of it. Explain that part to me.
I feel like more people watch the YouTube than regular TV, and you can get more correspondence than that. Because like YouTube, they do have a lot of power. They have the fan base. They can control the fan base and tell the fans what's going on, which we don't know what's going on. So I feel like YouTube is a big part of Jamaica football, in a sense of, I think that's the reason why Watapa got fired, because more than one YouTuber was pressuring them for him to get fired. So I feel like YouTube has a big part, because everybody in Jamaica, them now watch TV,
You think YouTube had an impact in Tapa getting fired?
Yeah, I most definitely think so. They have a definite impact of getting fired.
Okay, let me just play the brain drain advocate right here. Right, I'm the brain drain advocate. So, if YouTubers wanted the Prime Minister to resign, you think they could do that?
No, I'm not saying that. YouTubers, different scenario.
Okay.
Scenario. We're not talking about football. Because YouTube are just like our fan base will put pressure upon the manager if they get fired, they will get fired. Just like our Manchester United and the fan base and all of them, they all out and they have to listen to the fan base. The fan base control everything. And the fan base may not get income, all of them.
Okay.
So they have to listen.
Okay.
Just like when Wenger didn't want to, when it's a Wenger out, right? Is that correct?
You think it was a fan base that caused Wenger? I'm just asking you. I just want to make sure that you have substantive argument to support.
Yeah, like the fan base and he not performing properly. That's the one, because football is a result game, and we know that Manchester football is a result game. If you not play a result, you might kick you out and Manchester Wenger out. So we know that already.
Okay, so if the fan base could get a coach out, can the fan base get a player in?
I would definitely think so. Because the fan base was clamoring for Anthony Grant. to how Anthony got retained for the national team.
So how come they were clamoring for him and he wasn't called back in? If they have so much power.
I don't want to go into that situation because people saying it's me the reason why he's not in the team right now.
I didn't know that. All right, you don't have to get into it.
Yeah. So no matter me making an IT right now.
All right, Alex. I have a next call coming in. So yeah, man. All right then, blessing. But I like how when you listen to other people. Oh, Alex is gone. I like that though, Alex. Alex listen to other suggestions and then he adds to it, and take it at his own. But good thoughts, Alex. Yeah. Yeah, I like that, Bright. Also Patrick Coolness. Yeah, man.
Mornings, man.
Yes, Mr. Arsenal himself. How are you doing?
So I'm doing well. I heard you ask a question about recruiting strategy.
Yes, that you are supposed to come and sit with me.
Huh?
That you are supposed to come and sit with me.
I was gonna say that. You know what? We can't talk about recruiting strategy in 2 minutes. It's a long term. This is a much broader subject. There's a lot of thought needs to be put into it. It's not a flippant thing about YouTubers or whoever does what. It's a much more comprehensive thing that one needs to undertake. And so I can't. I was going to say, which is, I can't talk about a strategy in 2 minutes. It's a much more extensive discussion in terms recruit, not just about the players. Recruiting is a process, right? And if you're going to recruit me to come play for your organization, what is in it for me? Is it a structure I want to be involved with, organization I want to be involved with? There's a lot more about the recruit. You got to get your house in order first before you start recruiting. You can't just go, that's why you see people like Hudson-Odoi, the kid from Southampton, all these players haven't gone to play for Ghana for a number of reasons. One is because the Ghanaian population are very abusive to their players. And the kid in 2014 who missed that penalty never got over it. Forget it.
Gian, I think
so
that's
you have to make sure that you're. Go ahead.
Is his name Gian? Gian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one who missed the penalty against Uruguay. And they've been abusive to their players on a long-term basis. Now, you and I have talked about this before, which is what happens if all the 10 players you mentioned want to get in the team, so you have to displace other players who were part of the campaign, which what happened to Jamaica in '98, right? When Robbie Earl and them came in.
Right.
Some players are going to get their feelings hurt, right? They have worked throughout the campaign. They look forward to going to the World Cup. They won't go to the World Cup because better players come in.
Yeah.
Just life, that's how it is. It's more acceptable in the industrialized countries like England because it's normalized behavior. Acceptable in the more developed countries.
Because
people will say, well, where were you when we were campaigning?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, Cranky. Because the Southampton player, was even invited. I think his name is Salusu. I think that's his name.
Yeah, he was invited, but he kept putting them off, yes, for a while.
All right, but now he wants to be a part of the World Cup. Like, how do they manage that now? Seeing that his refusal was even something public. Yeah.
I mean, they struggled. Well, the choice is yours as the organization, right? You can either bring him in or you don't. You can cut off your hand to spite your face. You can say, no, we called you earlier, you refused us. Because I think he always put them off and focus on my career with my club, right? Now what happens is some fans will see him coming in and want to win. Those who want to win will say get the best. Those who believe in have the Jamaican mentality, I put that in some respect for some, a lot of Jamaicans will say, no, those who brought us here should be the ones who compete. But you don't know that they can compete at a certain level. If you told Lamptey, Hudson-Odoi, and Ketia, the kid from Southampton, I'm always forgetting his name, you just mentioned Saluso. If you tell them that you can't be part of my team, you won't be able to compete with the better teams in the World Cup. You won't win the World Cup. You're going to want those players in your team, and the general public will. Some won't, but most I think will. Which
Yeah,
is what we think. We don't want all these British players or all these foreigners in our team, and then you can't compete. You can't compete. The local players we brought to Canada couldn't compete, no matter what anyone wants to say. Now, we agree they have that exposure. We all want them to do well. But you know what, Mannings, man? If you want to compete, improve. Get better
yeah,
coaches. Get better infrastructure.
yeah. And what happened
Can't
is as
compete.
well, I
So don't
think,
sacrifice others who are citizens because you can't compete.
because here's what I believe. Also, better players make players better. It's like you, for example, when LeBron James goes on a basketball team, an average player looks better. So I think the higher the quality of the players that we bring into our team, the better it will be for local players who are in that team. In other words, it's going to lift their standard. But if they're playing with all the players who are at their level, it becomes harder, though possible, for them to improve rapidly. So
I agree with you, Mannings, man. But I look at it two ways. One way is this, which is if you're not as good as I am, you're just not as good as I am, right? You may get there eventually, but you may never get there. And that's life. You gotta live with it. But here's how I view this. It's twofold. I think the Jamaican administration is very parochial in their perspective. It's very narrow-minded in their perspective. Very narrow-minded. It's not thinking deductively. It's not broad-based in their thinking. Because if you bring all the best players in your team, Mannings, man, and they help you get to the World Cup, that notoriety, those resources you generate, can reinvest in your program and bring those players up. You probably can get more exposure being in the World Cup than how you're trying to do it, which is bring local players to the national team to get exposure. Yes, players like the King will get exposure, but they're much more one-off to me. But they're not going to Europe. They're going to go to the USL. They may go to Europe, but they won't go into the better leagues initially. Hopefully they'll improve and get to the better leagues. But I think it's it's a longer-term process to do it the way we're trying to do it. And Paul Hall mentioned 10 years. I think it's going to be longer. Versus trying to get the best players now. You build a structure. You invest in the program at all grassroots levels. Come all the way up, Mannings, man. So you're going to generate resources, given the amount of resources you get from the World Cup. Because the country's going to benefit more than those players who come and play for you. Call them mercenaries if you want. And for those who say they can't get to the England team, Mannings, man, I was watching Sky Sports today, and they were talking about KWP, Kyle Walker-Peters, and how he got to be happy. He got into the team. It's a great thing for him. He's playing really well. But then they said, yeah, but you know what? Who's going to play over at the World Cup?
yeah, exactly. I heard that, and they were talking about said that even the Man City game, they were talking about Kyle Walker not being called up, and Gareth Southgate told him that he will be part of the Nations League. So when you think about that, Kieran Trippier, who is out injured, who is a Southgate student, you have James at Chelsea, you have Alexander Arnold. I mean, he's not going to play. So I think what England is going to do, this is my theory, is they are going to look at all of these other nations and think, okay, why would we let these guys, why would we let Callum Hudson-Odoi go and play for Ghana? Next thing we meet Ghana and they beat us. Let us call him into the team and just tie him up. And if we don't call him again, so what? So I think like nations like Jamaica need to look to the Mason Holgates and these guys from now and say to them, listen, will England call you? Yes, but how long will that be for? We are giving you the guarantee that with you, you will play in the World Cup in 2026. Like, I think that, like I said, it's a bigger process, but I think that has to be the key motivating factor. 6 teams, and we don't have to contend with USA, Mexico, and Canada.
Yeah, well, man, I go back to my point earlier in this conversation, which is we don't have the right people in the administration to think how they should think to get us where we need to go to. If I don't have the capability to do something, man, no matter how much what I try to do, I may never get it. I just don't, it's not in my DNA. I haven't learned it. I haven't developed it. It's not part of my repertoire. And that's what we're experiencing now with our administration. And they don't have the vision. Frankly, they don't look like they have the kids. And some of them are smart. but they're very parochial, right? They're all about themselves and what they want to do and how it benefits them and their organizations. And they're not as nationalistic as people think they are. Because they may have think country first, my team second, and myself third. I don't think they're thinking that way. And because of that, we all suffer, right? Because we all are fans, we want Jamaica to do well, and we're not able to put the best product on the field. And as I said, the product doesn't start with the players. The product starts with the administration. The product starts with the support system, because we have to sell something to those players to come join us. Right now, we have nothing to sell except this unity, this function. I don't know what we can sell. We finished 6 out of what? We finished 6 in the qualifying round in a region which is not that good, frankly, or not deemed to be world class, because England is smiling having the USA in their zone. No one is concerned about Costa Rica, right? So I mean, and we have players in England who would love to play against England, man. Love to play against England. Love to go prove why, you know what? You didn't draw me in, so I want to show you that what you're missing. It's like a girl reject your man, and you want to show us that we can do better. And we are not smart enough to realize that Gareth Southgate is smart enough to realize I'm going to bring everybody in I can who is born in England, whether they can make my team or not, to make sure they don't have an opportunity to play for somebody else. Because this is becoming a big deal across the world nowadays, which is if you can lock a player into your system, whether or not he can make your starting 23, you're going to lock him in. So there's a bunch of things that can happen. First of all, he can compete against you. So you negate that. And second of all, you know what? It's part of your domain. It's part of your pool that you can draw from.
But what?
You don't realize that.
Listen to this comment, Mr. Porter saying, big up the rest of persons, J. Ross and El Padrino as well. But Mr. Porter says, man, if Southgate continues to do that to players, call them up, cap them, and forget about them, he's going to be a hated man. But I don't think he cares. Like, I don't think they're going to hate me because he knows after the World Cup, he's not going to be the coach again. His contract ends. His duty right now.
Man is man.
Yeah.
No, man is man. When a player gets capped for his country, he feels a sense of pride, right? Born in England is the highest level I can achieve. Not your club team, no, your country. The highest level. I'm one of the best players in the country. When I'm number 50 in the country, number 6, it doesn't matter. So if I get called again, you can look at the team and say, you know what, Kyle Walker-Peters, I'm very good, but Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James, Trippier, all those guys, they Walker, they probably are better than I am. I think I'm good, but it's fair, right? They're better than I am. And frankly, Southgate don't have to worry. Why would he worry about that? Everybody wants to play for their current national team. You got a cap, you can say you had a cap. In your designation, you got a cap for England, which is the best team in the world. It's part of my legacy, it's part of my history. If you take a cap for Jamaica and you haven't achieved anything football-wise, it doesn't have the same sort of recognition to it, same gravitas to it, same legacy to it. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So why would I want to be cap for England? And we have to create that construct where people want to come play for us because we're good. Think about it, management. It's like trying to play for Real Madrid, trying to play for Barcelona, trying to play for Juventus, trying to play for Man City. If you're a good management, you're the best players, and I bring you in, you're going to feel like you're part of something great, right? We have to have a program where we have the best players in our team. If they're citizens playing for us so we can compete and win, then others like them going to want to join us. And those who say, well, the kids in Jamaica won't see a pathway. But if we're winning and they're good, they're going to try to improve themselves to get to that level to be part of that program. Because the pride will be there. The outcome will be there. So why wouldn't I be part of that? Why wouldn't I try to improve myself? I'm not sure why we have this hiccup around trying to be great. We shouldn't have that hiccup. We should just try to figure it out. But I'm not sure the people in the JFF have the requisite vision, know-how to get us there. So we're going to have this conversation 4 years from now. We're going to ask management, how come we have three open slots? How come we have 3 slots which are taken? 3 open slots which take you to get the World Cup.
Okay.
Yeah?
I know that. Listen, I tell you, if we don't play in 2026 World Cup, nobody can tell me about no Jamaica match or Jamaica football. I would.
Management, the competition starts 2 years from now, management. It starts 2 years from now, right?
Yeah, the campaign.
Where are the players you're bringing into the under 20? Speed has its quota system. Management, you only need quota system in management when you have been unfair to people in management, like in the US, discrimination, past racism. So I have given barriers to entry. So I have to create slots for you so you can eventually compete. We ain't got no barriers to entry for the national team.
That's,
Meritocracy.
that
People
is,
learn how to play football.
and that is why here's my recommendation for that. If we believe that the local players at the youth level are world class, are as good as we believe that they are, here's my challenge. Let as many of the overseas born players come in and give them a fair chance to prove themselves. Because here's the thing, if at the end of the day, we all see how the trials pan out and the local players are indeed better, nobody will complain, because I'm asking the same thing that you're asking, I'm not asking you to just randomly select players. I am saying that give them an opportunity. Because if you're convinced, if the football fraternity is convinced that the local players are as good as anybody else in the world, then what fear do you have of them strutting their stuff against other players? Because if you're right, you understand me, Cranky?
Sentiment.
Eh?
No, I understand what you're saying, but it makes no sense, management, because your eye test tells you otherwise. Forget about stats, management. Your eye test, when we play against better competition, tell you otherwise, management. It's not even disputable. It is not disputable. Yes, we have some good players, and nobody can say we don't have good players. But what level are we talking about?
Yeah.
Blake is one of the best players in the MLS for years. What? And people will say, well, he didn't want to go to Europe. Really?
Yeah.
There's more money to be made in Europe. Everybody want to go to Europe.
No,
the kid from New England is going to Europe to keep our.
You know what though? I understand that he did have the opportunity to go to team in the championship, but his pay at the time that he was going to get was not as lucrative as what he was getting at Philadelphia. So he opted to stay. That's what I heard. I don't know.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
But here's the thing, management. We're talking about championship, right? We're not talking Premier League.
Yeah.
We're not talking League One. We're not talking La Liga, right? Now, we agree that scouts may not necessarily be as pervasive as they should be to bring out those talents. And Blake is a very good goalkeeper. That cannot be disputed. But I'm saying he's been one of our best players for years. And yet he's not deemed to be Premier League level. Now, is he better than some keepers in the Premier League? It depends on how you judge keeper in today's environment versus previous. Because he's not good with his feet, no matter what anyone says, he's not good with his feet. Now, he's a brilliant stop shopper. He's not a good stop shopper. He's a brilliant stop shot.
Shot stopper, yeah.
Shot stopper. I'm tongue twisted here. but I'll say this though, which is in today's football, when Guardiola spoke to the kid who he got let go, the previous England goalkeeper, he basically told you can't be my keeper. So you can't be my goalkeeper.
Yeah, but Cranky, you know what though? I will say to you, the last game that we played, I don't know. I don't know if the players were positioned better. The team was more, I don't know. But Blake seemed to have passed the ball out better. So could it be that some of the issues that we see him having in the Jamaica team is more about the team itself than his ability? Because he doesn't have the same problem at Philadelphia. This is what I keep saying. When I watch him play at Philadelphia, we don't see the same struggles with kicking out the ball and using his feet. So why it is
so
only...
man.
Yes.
Watch the game, man. We all can look good when we have no pressure. Man, watch the game. Watch the team them set up themselves. Watch which team put pressure on the goalkeeper or cut off the angle. So then you have to take more risks to make a more acute pass to get yourself upfield. Just watch those games. Watch the players, watch the positioning, watch the press, and watch how the person who has the ball, how comfortable they are to move the ball from left to right, go upfield, go between the lines, just watch. And you'll see why.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I can't kick with the ball at all. The question is, pressure bust fight management.
Hold on a sec, Cranky. I have this comment because Warren Webster, who told you that I don't live outside the country. Don't speak what you don't know, all right? That's what I'll say to you. How you don't mean I don't understand? Every day I tell you that people, how many times have I seen on this platform? My kids can represent the United States. You don't think I understand this? Come on, man. Warren, don't bother with that. We're having a very good conversation. Don't try and put me in something. Am I not fighting the same cause, my brother? The same conversation we're having. So you don't know me, so don't say that. All right?
I understand his comment anyway.
That's
Because
what,
of man, J. Ross,
yeah.
and those.
Like
Is he saying that people who live outside the country would feel out? No, maybe he's on our side by saying they would feel away if they were part of the program.
No, he
That's
says,
what he's
Manning's man, if you live outside the country, you would feel away. But I'm not.
Yeah, but what you're saying is a different part. No, what you're saying is a different from what? Maybe he's thinking you don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You and I are saying the same thing. J. Ross and I are saying the same thing. Giovanni and I are saying the same thing. So I don't know. I don't understand what he's saying.
You understand, man. He's thinking you're on the other side, which is you're not supportive of people outside the country. I think what you're basically saying, which is what we are saying, is it's a meritocracy. No matter where you live, so you're a citizen.
Exactly. So the only difference is that you're saying that you can look and see that they are better. I am saying let them come, right, and prove, because the guys out here believe that these players are world beaters. I am saying if you believe that they are world beaters, let the players come then. Because if they are really world beaters out there, then don't have no fear. What are you afraid of? The fact that you're afraid of bringing in people is saying that you don't believe they are world beaters.
Man, come on, man. The people are saying that, man, you and I know, man, you and I know they know better, right? We know they know better. We know they know better. We know that they're very focused on trying to satisfy their own objectives. You and I know they know better. It has nothing to do with the level of competition, the level of competence, the ability of the players who come from outside the country. They want to I'm not saying that they don't have a legitimate point in terms of they want to develop football in the country and give opportunities to local players. But if someone comes into your environment and say, no, I want to play for you, and they're better than what you have to allow it to happen. You can't restrict their ability to play for your country because you have somebody who you want to get into your team. We all think that's nepotism, right? We all think that's not right in any given organization. We see that in Jamaican society as normalized, frankly.
Yep.
There's a lot of noise in the background. That's not me, that's you, isn't it? You abuse people and you still attack.
Go ahead. No, man, go ahead, man.
Local players, but find other avenues. Don't use the national team as a primary source of doing so, the primary content to do so. Find other means to do so, because at the end of the day, go ahead.
I have spoken to a couple of agents who represent Jamaican players, and here's the truth. And one of them taught me, I learned a couple of things this week, right? One person said to me, he said, Jamaica is famous for filling in the blanks. And what he meant, he said that when we don't know something, we fill in the blanks. Right? And oftentimes what we fill in the blank is wrong. I learned that this week. He says that's a popular thing in Jamaican society. So if Cranky is in Jamaica for 6 months and they can't figure out something, they fill in the blank. Oh, I deport him, get deport. That's Jamaican culture.
Okay.
All right. The other thing I learned is this, and this is from a couple of agents said this to me. He said that the national teams, they said, is not to expose players, but it gives players exposure. All right. He says it's not to expose players, but it does give player exposure. So people may see you, but you don't need. Right now, how the marketplace is in Europe, you don't need your national team to be in any of the top leagues.
Yeah, management. But here's management. I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing, management. In those people in the JFF mind, there's something called speed to market, right? I have a product. I want to get into the marketplace. How quickly can I get to the marketplace and be a noticed product and go generate revenues, right? So I want to get to the market. And the national team is the most expeditious way to do that. So if I go play for Harbour View and I go to the national team, I gotta get agents to come see me. Your national team normally have some wide audience, not only within your confines of your country, but outside your country. Those games get sometimes max. You play against the US, a lot of exposure. You play against Mexico, a lot of exposure. So it's the quickest way to get to market. So even though it may not necessarily be the source of how that happens, it allows you to get to market much more quicker. It allows you to get much more exposure spanner, and allow you to get what they're trying to achieve, which is get their players with some team that allows them to generate revenue.
Yeah. And I agree. I agree with that. But like I said, I still believe in the present marketplace, players, maybe this was necessary 5 years ago, but in this present marketplace, I think that players can move easily. And that is why I like what Paul Hall didn't make it seem. I think how he manages his conversation well, because when you listen to him, the idea is, listen, whomever the player is, does he fit into what? The 10-year plan, the vision that I have. And I think that has to be the driving force. As a person who is a leader, here's one of the things I realize. All right? Here's one of the things I realize, Cranky. That you must be vision driven. In other words, what is the vision? If the vision is to get to the World Cup, what are the components? So what is the vision? And if you don't have a clear, articulated vision, then you're going to do all these different kind of things. When the vision is clear, everything now fits together and everything. So all the questions are answered by the end, you know. What is it that you want at the end? So will this lead to the end? And I like when Paul Hall speak. Paul Hall is saying, at the end of the day, the vision that I have, wherever the player is from, if they fit into that vision, they're going to be a part of the system. And so I could see him, for example, using, say, 40 players who are outside of Jamaica. Not because he went in seeking to do that, but that is what fits into the vision that he has. And at the same time, I could see him use a combination of both, because he's not driven by where, he's driven by the vision that I have. And I think that's the dynamic that he brings. Go ahead.
He's talking about both sides of his mouth.
Yeah.
He does, man.
Really? I don't hear that. I don't hear that. But go ahead, you tell me.
Initially, when he's talking, he's very focused on the low. Before, when he was talking to management, in the initial conversation he's having in the management is always around local players in the management, developing local players. That was his narrative for a while, you know. This whole aspect of now expanding that remit, I think, is more coming from more surety of getting the job. And if his objective initially was to convince those in JFF to give him the job, talking the local narrative, then I'm fine with that, right? Because you have to do what you need to do to get in the position to then effect change. But I heard him, that's why I said both sides of his mouth when he was talking initially. When you heard him talk initially, he talks about commitment and he talks about developing local players. I heard nothing about an expansive recruiting process.
You know what I felt though? You know what I felt? That's why I was telling people to bear with him. I think he was, I said it, you know, I think emotionally he was upset. Let me say it this way. I thought he was upset about how things went and he responded. A lot of that to me was just his emotions. And I think when he was in an environment when it wasn't about emotions anymore, like I took that, but I hear you, but that is how I saw it. I saw the initial stuff as he was not happy when persons declined. And so he just said what he said and really didn't mean it. But what he really meant was a second set of statements. That's how I saw it. But I can understand you said it to Miss Tooth because it is. But, you know, it's which one are you going to take as his real state? And I think the second one speaks more about where he wants to go than his initial statement.
So management, what Jamaica needs to build management is a program, whether it's local, overseas, or a combination management where players are not indispensable. Frankly, you can dispose of players if they don't conform to what you're trying to accomplish. What do I mean by that? So if I have Tony and I have Nicholas and I have Antonia, right? 3 very good forwards, and they're playing at a very, very similar level. They all should want to come when I call them. If they refuse, they may not get called back again. They can give me a good reason as to why they want to. You can't just because I want to go rest, you're not coming. You know what? You can be replaced. And my program is going to move on without you. But we don't have that construct. So therefore, it's almost like I'm begging you to come play because I know I don't have a good replacement for you. Right? If you're playing for Man City, for example, even if you're De Bruyne, if you don't conform to what Guardiola wants, you're replaceable. I have Gundogan, I have Rodrigo, I have Fernandez, I have all these players that can replace you. They may not exactly be the exact same level as you, but they're good enough for me to be successful.
Yeah.
So you can't do that with just local players, because local players are not good enough to dispose of the Antonios of the world, right? No matter how you want to look at it. So that's why you have to build a very comprehensive program. And first of all, we're not like England. It's not a good comparison because you know what? They don't have to go get visas. They don't have to go get passports. They already have it. That's where they're born. It's innate. We have to go convince players to come play to get passports, and that takes a while in the process. People like Speed will tell you, oh, you know what? If they go get a passport and come, then we'll talk to them. Like he's Mr. Big Shot with his chest out, and we have that luxury of rejecting people who have the capability to play for us and bring us forward. Like they're the ones need that. And that's what I struggle with, which is people can't take their arrogance, they can't put their arrogance aside and their view of the side and think more about what the long-term goal. So management, if Paul Hall wants to be, he has to have a short-term, medium-term, and long-term goal. His short-term is about Nations League. His medium-term is about the next World Cup in 2 years, start qualifying. And his long-term is a sustainable program to make sure we start producing talent, no matter where they reside, and have them be part of the national program. Right? He's saying 10 years, but he doesn't have 10 years.
Yeah.
You only get 10 years if you are successful in that process to allow you to be there.
Yeah. Well, Rene Simons was successful and didn't have 10. That's all I'll say. But we need to sit down, Cranky, and work through something, comprehensive and then present it to the people. Because I have some comments that, like, let me just, and I don't know if you've seen them, right? Because all right. So I like to give where experience don't meet expectation, fill the gap with trust. All right. So Paul Hall made 2 statements. One person here is saying that grandmother, Richard Stewart says his grandmother used to say, you have to kiss, before you kick it. You have to kiss ass before you kick it. And he says Paul Hall is just being diplomatic for now. All right. And then I think Winston is saying, if you don't mean something, then you don't say. And he's saying that he meant. I think he's suggesting that Paul Hall meant every word. All right. I do not. There are times when in anger or your emotional state sometimes cause you to utter things that when you look back at it, that was not what you meant, though you said it. I find what Paul Hall said in his second, more composed discussion as being a truer reflection of his long-term plan than what he said initially. I can understand, though, Cranky, somebody saying that, well, he seemed like he's just focused on local. I don't think so. I think he was a little bit upset about how things transpired. And I think it would have better if, like, the thing I will agree with people is that if you don't have anything good to say, shut your mouth. I think he should not have responded. But I will forgive him because I think his second response covers more of what he wants to do, which is over the long term. Listen, I have to find a way to help the players in Jamaica to get better. But at the same time, I need to build the kind of plan that will allow me to always have the best players overseas available to me at all time as early as possible to build something that will have yearly success and consistent success. In other words, I think he's trying to do something like what you're doing, create a kind of module for recruiting at the different levels. So even when he's gone, because I tell people, Paul Hall did not say 10 years because he thinks he's going to be around for 10 years. I think he's taking something that he probably learned at Queen's Park Rangers, that whatever development plan they have it over a certain period of time. So he used 10 years as the amount of time Jamaica would need to get the consistency in the World Cup happening. That's how I saw
look,
it.
I think QPR is a good learning tool because they run themselves to the ground trying to compete with the big boys. They've been in the championship for a while. They haven't gone back up. The guy from Asia who owns them spends so much money, exceed, all the 3-year threshold they have in terms of how much money you should spend, Fernandez. And they have been in the doldrums for a while, right? They've been struggling in the championship. They haven't been at the top. So they probably have taken a step back and said, this is not a sustainable model. But sustainability is a big deal in the management. If you want to do something for a long term, you put a process and a structure in place to allow that to happen. I think he's used the word 10 years because he believed, given where England was at one point and where England is today, even where Germany was at one point and where Germany is today, even where Spain was, all those countries put in very long-term sustainable programs, starting with their infrastructure, starting with their coaches. You got to build a base to allow you to develop good players and make sure you have the facilities and the infrastructure to allow them to grow, develop, and to prosper, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's thinking, not just around the players, but the whole holistic construct of how the national program should operate. The national program is not just the national team.
Exactly.
It's a national program, right? It's not just the national team, it's a national program, which would then allow people to filter through and be part of the national team eventually, whether it's the women's team or the men's team or the under 20, whatever level you're talking about. But you have to build something sustainable to do so. And he also has to be selfish and unselfish. What do I mean by that? He has to be selfish in that he has to be able to win now. If you don't win now as a coach, you're out the door. But he also has to be unselfish because when you're trying to have a long-term program, you make certain sacrifices and put in certain investment, and you may not get immediate return. So you have to have a sit down with the administration and say, look, here is what the plan is. This is what we're trying to achieve. Yes, we may not get results immediately, but a year from now, 2 years from now, you start seeing the results of it. Or you can say we can win immediately, but it may not be sustainable, right? And people want to win now. They don't want to win later. And sometimes you can juggle it really well and achieve both, but it won't be at the level that you want to if you're trying to go long term.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, because my initial thing is simple. All right. Even if you go, because I think, like, when I hear him speak, and I mean, for example, I've seen where he has spoken to individual players and given them individual things to work on until he meets them again. And it is like this. Listen, if for example, I come back in 2 months and you have not gotten to this place, I'm not going to call you. All right. So I see where he's trying to ensure that they are developing, but he's not dependent on that alone because there are competitions that are going to be run. But in my head, I'm thinking when he leaves, he wants to leave a program in place that somebody can, because that was one of the issues I think with Rene Simoes, that there was no comprehensive developmental program left for Jamaica to use as a module. And so
and you're right. Look, but also resources are a problem for us as a country, right? We just don't have the resources. But we got to figure out a way to work around that detriment, right? We got to figure out a work around the lack of adequate resources because we can't compete with certain nations who have large population, large amount of resources, and can invest. We got to figure out how do we work around that at the same time allow us to be successful. And he also has to have a core of key players, right? So, for example, in this current team, between Blake and Bailey, and
Ravel,
and
Low.
Greg Lee.
And I think he's going to keep, for some reason, I think he's going to keep low around. So
He probably will keep low, yeah. But he probably has, like England does with Rice and with Pickford and with Kane and with Sterling. He probably has about 7-8 players in the England team who are stalwarts in the team, who are part of the program, who are starters. Some who are not starters, like Henderson, are still part of that construct, right?
Trippier.
Senior players.
Like, if Trippier comes back off injury, he's going to call him. Yeah.
But you gotta have the core players who can then bring others along with them, who going to be in the team no matter what. If you bring in better players, they're still part of the program, still have ability to play. But he also has to work with the administration to really get to a good place because they're
I think he's going to. I think he's going to keep. For some reason, I think Ethan Pinnock is going to be a part of the setup. And I think people don't be surprised. I think we will see Ivan Toney at the Nations League for Jamaica.
Well, look, the thing about this, right? Ethan Pinnock, I watched him today against Chelsea. So in Jamaica, people are giving Ethan Pinnock a hard time.
No, man. Ethan Pinnock is a baller, man.
They don't know nothing about football, man. Nothing about football, man.
Anybody who says Ethan Pinnock is not good, don't know. I'm telling you, Ethan Pinnock is a baller.
Man, first of all, he can pass the ball from where he is. He's not the most athletic, right? Both he and Tony, by the way, are the most athletic players. What they do is use their brain a lot, right? Positioning, they can make a pass, they can hold the ball up, they can anticipate. They use their brain, given what I call lack of athleticism, to compensate for that. But they're good players.
I will say this, Cranky. I'll go as far as say this. I rate Mikel Antonio. But I will tell you this. I believe that Ivan Toney has a greater upside. More upside.
It's an interesting comparison, man, because Mikel Antonio lacks adequate control. He doesn't control the ball well. He's a hot and cold player. He's very physical, good speed, right? He can score, but he's not as consistent as in Tony, where Tony's almost a complete player with the athleticism, which makes it challenging for him, right? He's very subtle in his game. He can pass the ball between the lines as he did today at the right speed, at the right pace. And Tony doesn't have those subtleties in his game. He's a much more rugged, robust, run over you type player. It's an interesting comparison between the two. But look, I do think there are going to be other forwards coming to the pike. Man, we have so many players we can source from man. Some who are younger. One name I heard more recently, which I'm not going to mention, total in confidence, who is parents want to play for Jamaica, and he's a really good up-and-coming player, like really good man. Like will be in the Premier League for years to come. And I'm saying, why aren't we going out sourcing these players, getting their passport, and lock them into the national team? Forget about the under-20 team. Lock him into game 2 games so he can't play anymore for England and move forward. But then I think he can play the team going forward, we don't really care.
And I think that is where I think the vision of Paul Hall is more strategic than what we have now. And that's it in a crank. Organizations are, you have your vision statement, and then you have, so this is what we do, and then you have, this is how we do it. I think what we had is we want to get to the World Cup, but there's no plan to drive that. There's no comprehensive plan. And I think this is where I think Paul Hall is going to be instrumental in terms of a comprehensive development plan that is not just about one World Cup, but that kind of development that makes us competitive at all levels, from junior to senior, on a consistent basis. So that's where I see it going, and so I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, that I can understand people having a hard time accepting some of the things based on what he said initially, but having spoken to him, I think what he said should not be taken as what he meant, because what he said the second time around was a whole lot different. So if you put both things together, which one are you going to believe? Because they're.
So here's what a question I've asked, which hasn't been answered yet. How many players have Paul Hall recruited?
Already?
Paul Hall was it? Paul Hall was the person who had access to communicate with English-based players, right? It was Whitmore.
Yeah.
It was Paul Hall. My understanding, they bifurcated between local players was Whitmore, which was actually not very smart, frankly. And foreign and English-based players or English-developed players, Paul Hall was the person who engaged them. How many players, and I haven't heard this, maybe he has, did he bring into the program?
All right. So here's what.
How many did he recruit and bring into the program?
All right. So I will say this: the players who came into the program, I don't think he had an instrumental role in it, and this is why I think there needs to be a team. I think at the time, because he was the assistant coach. Because he was the assistant coach, I don't know how much leverage he believed he had. Those certain things were said publicly. I get the impression like he was there. And I don't know how much influence he had. Like, I don't know. I don't get the feeling from him like he could say, hey, I spoke to so and so, let him come into the team. I don't think he had that kind of a leverage. I think now he has been given greater authority.
So that may be true, man. But that didn't stop me from saying if I'm on the national program, I'm in England. I'm in England, right?
You saw Mr. Porter answer. He's telling you to easy.
I already said I'm not going to mention who it is. I don't breach confidence. Breach confidence. It would never happen by this time. I don't breach confidence. So I said what I said. I breach no confidence. So I would never say that. No, never. It won't happen. I'm not like some people. But anyway, let me say this, which is, if you're in England, right? And you're Paul Hall for the national program. You don't bring players. You can say, you know what, Damari Gray. You know what, Omar Hutchinson. You know what, Tony. I think you guys should think about Jamaica as an alternative. Get your passport. If you change your mind, I would love to come play with us. And look, I'm part of the program. I think we're going someplace. You guys can help really put the country on the map on a sustainable basis going forward. You guys are young. The national program for a long time. The country is trying to move forward. It's part of your lineage. I can convince them to be part of the program. They don't have. You could still be waiting for England while you have the national passport, whatever it is, man. I've never heard that.
Yeah, and that is why I'm saying to you, I agree with you, and that is why and part of what I want to suggest to you when we're doing that recruiting thing, I don't think Paul Hall had enough clout as an assistant coach. I think he has some more now, but it's going to take more than Paul Hall to convince some of the players. I think the biggest sell we are going to have is not the coach of the team. It is the players. Like, in other words, I think Ethan Pinnock, as an example, I think Ethan Pinnock and Leon Bailey and Mikel Antonio, alongside Paul Hall, talking to people. When I'm talking to the people, I have to be very careful. As hypothetically speaking, let me just put that. I believe if Ethan Pinnock, Leon Bailey, say Ravel, Paul Hall, and Mikel Antonio invited, say, Ivan Toney and Rico Henry and Mason Holgate to dinner to talk about representing Jamaica and to say, listen, we have people in place who will help you to get all the documentation, and say exactly what you said about, just get the passport just in case. I think that would be more convincing than if Paul took up the phone and called Ivan Toney or Mason Holgate. And that is why I'm saying
look, you may be right. My point wasn't just about Paul Hall calling. My point was, you're part of the national program, and I haven't heard you recruited one player, right? You make an attempt to recruit a player. Now, I do agree with you. It needs to be a much more comprehensive recruiting strategy that we employ to bring players in, and players, coaches, ex-players, diplomats. There could be a litany of sources you use to bring people of affiliation, to bring people into your program, right? Especially the players who you're really pursuing. There'll be other players who want to be part of your program, maybe good enough, but you may not want to pursue them directly.
Cranky.
You can have a generic way of people to get part of the program.
This is a light bulb moment. Here's what I want you to do, man. We need to, you see, if they had like a little handbook, say 5 or 10 pages, Reggae Boys 2026 campaign. And they said, listen, and you when you finish that dinner, you present it to the player with some of the players you plan on looking at and description of them, how the qualifying going to work, why you're going to qualify. So even when you're gone, you give one of them that book, or you understand me? Something like that. Like, because that can be done, with your vision. I mean, all of the important stuff, and it's not a lot of information to read and stuff. I think stuff like that would be so convincing. Because let me tell you something. People get motivated by clear vision. When you're going to work for a company and you know that they have been doing this for a while, they know where they're going, they're organized, you take a risk on it. People take a risk on vision. What people will not take a risk on is disorganization. When people step into a place and it is disorganized, they don't want to be a part of it. So I think if this must be a part of it. Listen, 2026. So we should now begin to put together documents that we can take to the players in the top, because I don't have to do that if I'm going to find someone in League 2, for example. I don't think I need to bring no Leon Bailey and Mikel Antonio and all of those things. No, you're in League 2. Hey, you can't get that's me, unless you're exceptional talent. You understand me? But at certain level of recruiting, we don't need to do certain things. But for the
and look, I think there are different ways to this, man. I think one, you mentioned something which is very important, right? When you have all those infrastructure in place, then the key recruiters then become your players, not even your coach and management for national team. So think about, here's an example. You look at the NBA, which also you cover in one of your channels. Look at Miami with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and the other kids. Exactly. Or you look at the Nets with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, right? At some point, if you have the structure in place, everything is well organized, well situated, then it's players recruiting players, because I want to play with a certain player. So I can see all these new players on the team. I want to be part of that community, right? But you can't. But I would invite you to come play for my team. I can tell you something, management. All the companies I've worked for, it's about 5 companies. It's people who I've worked with who reach out to me, and I said to myself, you know what? If they reach out to me to come work, then they know me. It's their reputation. They wouldn't call me to come work here unless they believe that it's a good company in the first place, right? No matter what, because you may see a company from the outside and they look really, really good, but you have no idea about the inner workings, right? So therefore, when you have this structure in place and it's working really well, the players then become a recruiting tool for you to bring players into your organization. Or ex-players help in doing so.
Listen, there's a difference when LeBron James calls you and say, hey, I am going to New York.
Yeah.
Are you Carmelo? I'm going to New York. And Carmelo say, hey, he said, listen, I guarantee you that if you come and join me, we are going to win a championship. We have those kind of players in the team now. And I'm saying that must be a part of it. And it may be for the players at the top level, the players in the Premier League. And use that, because I don't know, why would you try to convince Ivan Toney if Ethan Pinnock is uncomfortable? In other words,
you understand
me, Frankie?
So if Antonio and Pinnock are saying, you know what, we play for them money, but you know them man, they're organized, man. No, waste of time, my youth. I'm enjoy. Me do it still, but you know what? Let's do come want something to do on the side, because you know I waste of time. The man they're not ready.
Exactly.
You know, come. There's no encouragement for you to come when he's telling you, because his reputation is that if he comes and things don't work, he's gonna look at you and say, well,
exactly.
My youth.
You can imagine.
So Frankie,
when I come up, I mean, you say, hey, man, listen, I hear you are a trained CPA. I mean, why don't you come on? And I go up there and sing, and I mean, it's be problems in the company. The first thing I'm going to say is, really this year, invite me into, man. I thought,
yep.
There you go. So I think what needs to happen is that the first conversation, like you said earlier, needs to be with the coach and the key players, the Ravel, the Ethan Pinnock, one-on-one with them, and let them buy into, you know, that John Maxwell talks about the law of buying. Let them buy into the vision, because if Ethan Pinnock is convinced about the vision you have. Convincing others in his team will be easier.
Management, you know what burned me about this campaign, management? Costa Rica may go to the World Cup, management. And Costa Rica is a bunch of old people who are on them last leg, and them are go World Cup, management.
Who Jamaica should have
people?
Who listen? Costa Rica is the one team I think Jamaica could have beaten twice.
Yes, easily.
There you go.
Easily, management. We played them in Costa Rica, we should have beaten them. We missed easy goals, and we played them at home, we should have beaten them. Played them in the Gold Cup, we should have beaten them. Them beat us. What, 2 of the 3 games, and we should have won all 3 games. So if you go back to all the games with El Salvador, for example, with the US and Jamaica, which we got stolen, right? If you add up all those points that we missed, even with the dysfunction that we have, we'll still be close to Costa Rica, right? Because they would have less points. Now, Panama is our boogie bug. We've never beat Panama in a World Cup qualifier. That seems to be the norm. But even then, we scored first when we played them at their place. We could have done better. And we were disorganized.
Yeah.
Totally disorganized, totally dysfunctional, and still competed. So at the end of the day, if we were more organized, had a better administration, a better structure, brought in some better players in certain key areas, you and I would be celebrating now. I'd be thinking about going to Qatar, trying to figure out how I can get time off from work to go to Qatar, go enjoy myself.
My friends had to cancel their ticket. I feel it for them. Oh my God.
No, they don't have to cancel their ticket, management. They go support another team. Not because of them ticket.
Oh jeez, I mean,
and why would you buy a ticket first? Because you know a Jamaican administration around this program.
Correct. You know them, you know. I think you know them, you know. You know BAM and AQ.
I'm not sure.
They play in the league up there, man. One is I think they're both one Calabar and Woolmers. But the only game they didn't go was in the last window. They traveled. They didn't go was in the last window. They traveled. I hear about myself. I don't know what you just did.
I think I lost you for a second.
Yeah.
No, my headset was dropping, but it's back on.
Yeah. So
can you hear me now?
Yeah, man. So they traveled everywhere to watch the team. They went to all the games in the home and away.
Oh, okay.
So they had bought. They did this whole thing to travel to all the games, and then Jamaica would qualify and they'd go to Qatar, right? I mean, I tell them that they have a lot of faith.
Oh.
Yeah, but so you know when I don't know, because I really did believe, but at the end of the day, like I said, a lot of it had to do with how disorganized we were. And Cranky, you work in the corporate world. If you don't have a vision, you're going to be all over the place, because vision is what drives organization. That is why you never go to a Burger King nowhere in the world and see them selling fried chicken, because they are not driven by demand, they are driven by vision. If KFC is outselling them, they are going to stick to burger, because they are driven by vision.
Chicken is a small thing first. I make it, that's your marinade first. You work there with them. Make it a key product.
There you go. And the other thing is that I think we have to make up our minds if we are a small footballing nation or a big footballing, and our administrators need to make that shift. I think sometimes, and this is to the detriment of most people and things in Jamaica, we oftentimes individually and collectively think we are bigger than we are.
Yeah, look, it helps us. Management, we're interesting people in management. It helps to be very confident, right? Even sometimes overconfident, even arrogant. Trust me, because in this world, as you know, we as a people struggle. As a people, our persuasion struggle. We as Jamaicans are very confident. Even sometimes we don't know nothing, we think we know everything. And it does help you to have that sense of confidence and self-worth, right? It does help you. But you also have to be managed in terms of how you operate, right? You can't just think, if you don't know something, try to learn it. Try to get the know-how. Don't just go do something where you don't really know it and therefore you're not going to be successful, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're very successful people of just 3 or 6 million. I think we're very successful on a global basis, frankly. Given, as I said, we look at Talawa, that's in just terms of the size of the island, not in terms of the people. But I do think there are things that we don't know well enough, and we have invested in ourselves enough to go learn it and implement it. Or we are so arrogant, we just think we know everything and nobody can tell me nothing.
Yeah.
You can't tell me nothing because I'm medium, whoever my name is. and we
Yeah.
know everything. But when the outcome doesn't tell you that, the outcome says something different. So my hope is that Paul Hall will take all he has learned, the environment he has been developed in, but he try to understand the Jamaican culture and how Jamaica operates. There is no localized on the ground. Put that all in his repertoire and he use that as a basis to help him. Up foreign players and playing. Not what we're saying. We're saying Paul Hall.
You keep tripping out. You keep.
All try to get the players at this edition. Try to develop to be at a certain management. Is a new headset in the management.
Hey, listen, and you on for what?
New Bose headset.
People, we have a record maker. Cranky has been on the call for 1 hour. You understand me?
It's been that long? It didn't seem that long in the management. Maybe I enjoyed the conversation. So I'll jump off. So give me a signal. I'll come off your program.
So listen, no. So next week, we need to talk this week and set up something where we do some presentation to the people about what we believe. And I know that people listen, and so they will hear. So we can probably do something about just our advice in terms of how best to to recruit. What is a recruitment program kind of a thing. So maybe we'll talk this week and set that up, and then we can put something together to share with the people. But yeah, man, but thanks for calling.
Just make sure it's not when Arsenal is playing. Just make sure
that that happen. So bless up. And I need to go and watch NCAA basketball because my Blue Devils played as well. So
Lord, I hope they lose, man.
Hey,
I am an anti-G person. I don't care who's playing you. I hope they lose.
Cracky, no bother with. Why you still like no bother with that, man?
Wait. Man. Brain drain, send me a bleach. Hey, brain drain. You're acting a matter, but I'm speaking spooky brain drain. You want me to start again? You want me to lose my mind again, brain drain, but a bleach. Brain drain, no bother with it. The bleach thing.
You see what he said up top? He says, people like myself, is like Jamaican, feel like they are great.
So, I hear you, Bridget. All right.
Yeah, man. All right, Cracky, what's up? All right, Peso, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. You turn what? 23 to the 43 today. Yeah, man. Happy birthday to you, man. Hope you have a blessed day. But people, we're gonna run out of town. You understand me? Respect Teddy Lee. We see a fight in the comment section, Bless up, long time. Yeah, we see a fight. Teddy, one man against the world, Teddy Lee. Keep on fighting your fight. You understand me? Yeah, man. But listen, that the other vloggers are saying Coach Minzy, second night of the triple treat. Check out the Formula Sport. Normally do something on Saturdays as well. Ryan LFC, Dre Anyways at the Harbour View, man. Doing him stuff. Unseen Sport is also there. You have some guys over by Sports Frenzy. You understand me? I think they have the basketball tonight with Kems and the rest of the guys over there. Listen, female football coming up. So if you don't know, check out Talawa TV. You understand me? Show her some love and support. You see Cataract, by Reggae Boys commentary. Link up the people there, man, and check out some of the content because everybody putting out stuff, and show some love. You understand me? They support me, I support them. You have military Gona. I mean, it was so good. Like, we were like celebrities at the stadium because all of us were there, So many of the vloggers were together in one space, one unity, one love at the last game. And so, support them. Show them some love. Sports down the middle. Eddie, you don't know. Bless up. So, one and all, we're going to watch some NCAA basketball. Brain drain, how the game going? The Duke Blue Devils are for sure. Yeah. Warren, bless up. Mr. Porter, Tennessee. Best of Fresh God. Jerry Ross. Teddy Lee. Yeah, one man against the world. Oh, Gregory Isaac, man being Gregory Isaac tonight, the cool ruler, taking on the entire comment section. Javani, bless up. Alex, bless up. Thanks for calling in Cranky. Siobhan Givens, a lot of respect, Shem, the female in the building, bless up, always good to have you. You understand me? Yeah, man. Who else am I missing any name? Yeah, Roberto Baggio, Ishmael King. Bless up. You know. Yeah, man. Kingston 8 in the building. Straight. You know. Whitehall Avenue. You understand me? Gully Bank. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Bless up. Lee Young. Yeah, always good to have you in the building, bro. Tennessee Lewis said speed. Bless up again. Yeah. You know, brain drain. Yeah, don't know. Yeah, man. Everybody, one love, one heart, people. Take care. We will speak. We will talk. Oh, Cranky calling again. What's good? Oh. All right. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. I'll leave you with a few words from Russey's High School and William Neighbor High School. So, be blessed, people. We're closing out. Again, see you on one of those platforms later. Don't know where I'm going to be, but if you're where I am, then I will see you for sure. Yeah. Yeah, UNC versus Duke. Yeah, man. Bless up, bless up, bless up.
William Nip Memorial High School D-Cup Alumni presents its third annual fundraising barbecue on Memorial Day, May 30th, 2022. Wear your favorite jersey to Wilsonwood Park in Mount Vernon, New York. Remember to take exit 12 off the Hutchinson River Parkway. Music by DJ Mad Max of Sound 1000. Proceeds to aid the William Nip High School Jocasta Cup team. For more information, contact Keegan 304-607-4034. Our Codfish at 954-639-2991. Proud of people, it's important. Remember, make sure say Ono did that.
Yo, saw me, the young Jamaican trainer, Mr. Strength No Weakness himself. Yo, I'm here to tell you guys that the Broses family presents their second annual Blue and White Grill and Chill. Let me let you know something. It will be so much fun and amazing event. Make sure you show up and show out. From the young Jamaican trainer himself. Listen, Saturday, May 28th, and it's 3458 Ballard Avenue, Bronx, New York. Let's see you later. Strength No Weakness.